Taylor Hayes' Rebecca Budig is on the ground. She isn't moving. Her left hand is pressed against her lower right abdomen, but the pressure does nothing. Blood seeps between her fingers, black against the cream silk of her blouse, then red as it spreads. Her eyes are open but unfixed, staring at the steel beams of the Forrester ceiling as if trying to remember where she is. Ridge Forrester, Torsten K., drops to his knees beside her so fast his joints crack on the marble. He doesn't feel it. His hands hover over her body, terrified to touch, then grab her shoulder.
Taylor.
Taylor, look at me. Her eyelids flutter. That's all. A guttural sound leaves her throat. Not a word, just air and pain. Ridge turns his head and roars. Somebody call 911 now. Brooke Logan, Catherine Kelly Lang, is already on her phone, her own hands shaking so badly she has to grip the reception desk to steady herself. Yes, Forrester Creations, downtown, gunshot wound, female, 50s, she's bleeding. Her voice cracks. Please hurry. Steffi Forrester, Jacqueline McInnes Wood, shoves through the small crowd of horrified employees. Her heels skid on the slick floor. When she sees her mother, she makes a sound that isn't a scream. It's something more primitive, the noise of a daughter's soul tearing.
Mom.
She falls to her knees on the other side of Taylor, grabbing her mother's free hand. Taylor's fingers are already cold. You're going to be okay. You hear me? You're going to be okay. But Taylor's lips are turning gray. Finn, Tanner Novlin, arrives 3 steps behind Steffi, his physician's brain overriding his husband's terror. He shoves Ridge aside, not cruelly, but with the efficiency of a trauma surgeon who has 2 minutes to save a life. I need space. Ridge, get everyone back. Steffi, talk to her. Keep her eyes open. He presses his fingers to Taylor's neck. The carotid pulse is thready, fast weakening. He checks her pupils, unequal. His jaw tightens. Internal bleeding. Possibly hepatic or splenic. She's hypotensive already. Taylor, can you hear me? Finn's voice is loud, commanding. Squeeze Steffi's hand if you can hear me. A faint pressure. Steffi sobs.
She squeezed.
She squeezed Finn. Finn looks at the wound. Small entry point, lower right quadrant. No exit wound he can see. The bullet is still inside. That means more damage, more tearing, more bleeding she can't survive without an oar. He grabs a stack of silk fabric samples from a nearby display and presses them directly against the wound. Taylor arches off the floor with a scream that cuts off into a wet gasp. I know, Finn says, low and steady. I know it hurts, but you're not dying today. Not on my watch. Ridge stands frozen 10 feet away, his hands bloody. He looks down at them. Taylor's blood, his best friend. The woman he's loved in a dozen different ways across 30 years. His voice comes out broken.
Who did this?
No one answers. Because no one saw. In the chaos of the argument, Sheila? Another confrontation? It doesn't matter now. What matters is the sirens wailing 2 blocks away, getting louder. EXT. Forrester Creations, continuous. 2 LAFD paramedics burst through the glass doors with a gurney and a jump bag. The lead paramedic, a woman in her 40s with exhausted eyes, takes one look at Taylor and starts firing orders. Gunshot, abdomen. Hypotensive. Start 2 large-bore IVs, lactated ringers, wide open. I want O-negative blood on standby at County. They work in brutal silence, cutting away Taylor's blouse,
Finding the wound,
slapping monitors on her chest. The EKG shows tachycardia, heart rate 142, blood pressure 70 over palp. She's circling the drain. Finn stays in their way only long enough to say, I'm a doctor. She's my mother-in-law. She took a bullet to the right lower quadrant, no exit. Unequal pupils suggests hypoperfusion, not head trauma, but I want a head CT anyway. The paramedic nods once. Ride with us or follow? Follow, Finn says. I'll meet you in the trauma bay. Steffi refuses to let go of Taylor's hand as they lift the gurney. I'm riding with her. No one argues. Ridge grabs Brooke's arm. We follow.
now. Int.
Los Angeles County General, Trauma Bay, 1 hour later. The trauma bay is controlled chaos. 3 nurses, 2 respiratory therapists, a surgical resident, and Dr. Colin Marsh, the attending trauma surgeon. Taylor is naked under a thin sheet, covered in leads, lines, and the sharp smell of betadine. A rapid infuser pushes warmed blood into her veins as fast as her heart will take it. Dr. Marsh holds an ultrasound probe to Taylor's abdomen. The screen shows a dark lake of fluid around her liver. Positive, fast exam. Massive hemoperitoneum. She needs the or yesterday. Page Dr. Okonkwo. I want vascular surgery on standby. And call interventional radiology. If we can embolize before we cut, I'll take it. Finn stands in the corner of the room, having bullied his way past 2 nurses. He's not treating, he's watching. His face is pale. Steffi is in the family waiting area with Ridge, but Finn needed to see. He needed to know if his mother-in-law was going to die on this table. Dr. Marsh notices him. You family? Physician. Family by marriage. Then you know the stats. Penetrating abdominal trauma with hypotension in the field, mortality's 20 to 30%. She's got a chance, but it's not a guarantee. Finn's throat works. Do everything. That's the only way I know how to work. Taylor is wheeled past them, a nurse riding the gurney, compressing the wound. Her face is the color of old paper, but her eyes find Finn's for 1 second, and she mouths something. He can't read her lips, but he nods anyway.
Int.
Hospital, family waiting area, 2 hours later. The room smells like stale coffee and fear. Ridge paces in a tight line, his designer shoes leaving faint bloody prints on the linoleum. Brooke sits rigid in a plastic chair, her hands folded in her lap like she's praying, which she is, though she hasn't prayed in years. Steffi has stopped crying. That's worse than the crying. She stares at the double doors that lead to the surgical ICU, her eyes red, her face blank. Thomas Forrester, Matthew Atkinson, bursts through the doors, out of breath. I came as fast as I could. Is she? She's in surgery, Ridge says. Bullet nicked her liver. Maybe her colon. They're not sure yet. Thomas looks at Steffi, his sister.
His ally.
He sits next to her and puts an arm around her shoulders. She doesn't lean in. She just keeps staring at those doors. Who pulled the trigger? Thomas asks. No one answers. Because the answer is too big. Too ugly. Too tangled in decades of hate and custody battles and a woman named Sheila Carter who should have died 100 times but never does. The doors swing open. A surgical nurse in blue scrubs, her face unreadable. Family of Taylor Hayes? For people stand up at once. She's out of surgery. The bullet perforated her liver and nicked the portal vein. We were able to repair the vein and resect the damaged liver segment. She lost a lot of blood. Nearly 3 liters. She's on a ventilator tonight. The next 48 hours are critical. If she rebleeds, or if she develops an infection, we could be looking at a very different conversation. Steffi's voice is a razor blade. Can I see her? 1 at a time. 5 minutes. She won't wake up tonight. Steffi doesn't wait. She walks through the doors like a soldier walking into a war she didn't choose.
Int.
Surgical ICU, night. The room is quiet except for the rhythm of the ventilator. Hiss, click, hush. Taylor lies in the bed, intubated, a nasogastric tube draining bile from her stomach, 3 chest tubes, a central line in her neck, an arterial line in her wrist. Her skin is the color of ash. Her hair, usually perfect, is matted with blood and sweat. Steffi pulls a chair to the bedside. She takes her mother's hand, the one without the 4, and holds it against her cheek. I'm here, Mom, she whispers. I'm not leaving. Taylor's eyelids flutter. She can't speak because of the tube, but her thumb moves. Just a fraction. Just enough. Steffi closes her eyes. You fight. You hear me? You have grandkids who need you. You have a daughter who can't do this without you. So you fight. Outside the glass window of the ICU room, Ridge watches with his hand pressed against the glass. Brooke stands behind him, her hand on his back. No words. What words are there? Finn arrives with 2 cups of coffee. He hands one to Ridge, who doesn't take it. Finn sets it on a windowsill. She's strong, Finn says. Stronger than anyone I know. Ridge finally speaks.
His voice is wrecked.
She shouldn't have been there. This is my fault. Every woman I love ends up in a hospital bed. Brooke starts to argue, but Finn cuts her off gently.
Not now.
Right now, we just wait. And they do. The night stretches on. Nurses come and go, checking vitals, adjusting drips, drawing blood. Taylor's blood pressure wobbles at 90/50. Her heart rate stays fast, 120, 125. A small bleed, maybe, or just the storm of her body trying to survive. At 3 a.m., Steffi finally falls asleep with her head on the edge of the bed, her fingers still tangled with her mother's. At 4 a.m., Taylor's eyes open. She looks at her daughter. She can't speak, but she's awake. And that's enough for now. The ventilator cycles with mechanical patients hiss, click, hush. Taylor Hayes's eyes remain open, glassy, fixed on her daughter's sleeping face. Steffi's cheek is pressed against the thin hospital blanket, her designer blouse wrinkled beyond repair, mascara streaked down her face like dark rivers. She breathes slowly, deeply, the exhaustion of absolute terror finally pulling her under. Taylor tries to move her right hand. It doesn't respond. She tries her left. Her fingers twitch, tangled with Steffi's, and that small motion is enough to make her gasp around the endotracheal tube. The tube is taped to her lips, a clear plastic snake forcing air into lungs that tried to fill with blood just 6 hours ago. Her throat is raw. Her abdomen feels like someone lit a fire inside her and kept adding gasoline. She remembers fragments. The argument. The raised voice, whose? She can't place it. The flash of something metal. Then the punch. Not a punch. A bullet. She remembers the floor rushing up to meet her. Ridge's face above her, twisted like she'd never seen it. Then nothing until this room, this bed, this machine breathing for her. A monitor beeps. A nurse appears in the doorway, middle-aged, kind-eyed, wearing lavender scrubs. She sees Taylor's open eyes and moves quickly, but calmly, to the bedside. Dr. Hayes, my name is Nancy. You're in the surgical ICU at County. You had surgery for a gunshot wound to your abdomen. You're on a ventilator to help you breathe. Not if you understand me. Taylor blinks, then nods. The motion costs her.
Good.
You're doing very well. Your family is here. Your daughter Steffi hasn't left your side. Your son-in-law Finn is down the hall. Ridge and Brooke are in the waiting room. You have a lot of people who love you. Taylor's eyes fill with tears. She can't wipe them. Her arms are full of 4 lines and an arterial catheter. The tears spill down her temples, into her hair. Nancy gently dabs them with a tissue. I know this is frightening, but you're stable right now. Your vitals are holding. We're going to keep you sedated for a little longer to let your body heal. You're going to close your eyes now, and when you open them again, we'll be trying to take that tube out. Okay. Taylor doesn't want to close her eyes. She's afraid she won't open them again. But her body is not asking for permission. Her eyelids drop. The ventilator hisses. And she is gone again, back into the artificial sleep of propofol and fentanyl. Steffi stirs, lifts her head, sees her mother's closed eyes. Panic flashes across her face until Nancy touches her shoulder. She woke up briefly. She was aware. She nodded. This is good progress, sweetheart. Now you need to eat something and drink some water. You can't help her if you collapse. Steffi shakes her head. I'm not hungry. I didn't ask if you were hungry. I'm telling you what you're going to do. There's a cafeteria on the first floor.
Go.
I'll stay with her. I promise I won't leave. Steffi looks at her mother's face, still too pale, still too still. Then she looks at the nurse. Something in Nancy's steady gaze makes her believe. She stands, her legs unsteady, and walks out of the ICU on autopilot.
Int.
Hospital cafeteria, 5 a.m. The cafeteria is fluorescent lit and nearly empty. A janitor mops the far corner. A tired-looking resident drinks coffee from a styrofoam cup while reading a thick textbook. Steffi stands in front of the hot food station, staring at powdered eggs and rubbery bacon without seeing any of it. Ridge finds her there. He looks like he aged 10 years in one night. His white shirt is ruined, blood-stained at the cuffs, wrinkled beyond repair. He hasn't shaved. His eyes are bloodshot. "Hey," he says softly. "Hey." He puts an arm around her. She leans into him. For a long moment, neither of them speaks. "Finn told me she woke up," Ridge says. "That's something." She looked at me. I didn't even know she was awake until the nurse said something. I was asleep. I fell asleep while my mother was lying there with a tube down her throat. "You're human, Steffi. You're not a machine." Maybe I should be. Maybe if I'd been watching closer. "Stop." Ridge turns her to face him. His voice is gentle but firm. "Stop right there. You didn't pull the trigger. You didn't put her in that room. You didn't do anything wrong. The only person responsible is the person who fired the gun. And we're going to find out who that was." Steffi pulls away. Her face hardens. "We already know, Dad. Don't we? We know exactly who did this." Ridge doesn't answer. Because she's right. In their gut, in their bones, in the cold knowing that has lived in the Forrester family for 30 years, they know. Sheila Carter. But Sheila wasn't there. Was she? The argument on the Forrester floor was between Taylor and someone else. Someone unexpected. The police are still piecing it together. The security cameras in that section of the building malfunctioned 2 days ago. A coincidence? No one believes that. Steffi grabs a plastic cup of orange juice, drinks half of it in one long swallow, then sets it down. "I'm going back upstairs. I'll walk you." They leave the cafeteria together, father and daughter, united by blood and grief and a rage neither of them knows what to do with yet.
Int.
Surgical ICU, family waiting area, 6:30 a.m. The waiting area has filled as dawn breaks gray over Los Angeles. Thomas sits in a corner, scrolling through his phone but not seeing it. Hope Logan, Annika Noel, sits beside him, her hand on his knee, her own face drawn with worry despite her complicated history with Taylor. Paris Buckingham, diamond white, brings a tray of coffees from a cart outside. Zend Forrester Dominguez, Delon de Metz, stands by the window, watching the sun rise over the 101 freeway. Brooke hasn't moved from her chair in 3 hours. She stares at the ICU doors. Every time they swing open, she flinches. Ridge sits down next to her. "You should go home.
Shower.
Sleep." "I'm not leaving." "Brooke." "I said I'm not leaving, Ridge." Her voice cracks. "I know Taylor and I have had our battles. God knows we've tried to destroy each other more times than I can count. But she is the mother of your children. She is Steffi's whole world. And she was there because of me. Because she came to defend me. That bullet was meant for me and you know it." Ridge is silent. Because she's right. The argument wasn't about Taylor. It was about Brooke. About a custody dispute. About a threat made in anger. And Taylor stepped between Brooke and the gun. Taylor took the bullet that should have ended Brooke Logan's life. "You can't carry that," Ridge says finally. "It'll crush you." "Good. Maybe I deserve to be crushed." He takes her hand. She doesn't pull away. They sit like that. Two people who have loved and hated and married and divorced and remarried and lost each other and found each again, waiting for news about the woman who has always been the third point of their triangle. The ICU doors open. Dr. Marsh appears, still wearing surgical scrubs, a coffee in one hand and a chart in the other. He looks tired but not defeated. "Forrester family?" Everyone stands. Ridge moves forward. "How is she?" "We've taken her off the paralytic. She's breathing over the vent now. That means her respiratory drive is returning. I'm going to try extubating her in about 2 hours if her blood gases look good. She's not out of the woods. She could still develop a post-op infection, and her liver function is going to be touch and go for the next week. But she's alive. And she's fighting." Thomas exhales. Hope closes her eyes. Paris whispers. "And she is smiling."